Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Drafted Up podcast, and today, it's finally happening. Our mock draft episode for fantasy football. We've obviously done a ton of mock drafts for the draft season, but now we're doing it for fantasy. We've covered all of our rankings for our top players. Now we're going to dive in so you can kind of hear us kind of debate on where we're going per team. That's Nick. I'm Theo. How you doing?
Doing great. Still rocking NCAA pretty much every day. It's my life at this point. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, haven't played in a couple days, but I go through waves. I'll play it a bunch of straight days, and I wean myself off for a few days, then jump right back in. Like I said, today, doing a mock draft. I'll be drafting from the 3 spot. Nick will be drafting from the 10. 12-team league. Quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, a flex, 5 bench spots, 12 rounds. We're not doing defense and kickers. Not worried about that. But before we dive into the mock, we got some quarterbacks who got paid the last couple days, and Trevor Lawrence and Jordan Love getting that bank, baby. And Tua, I don't know if we've talked about Trevor Lawrence. He got paid 2 weeks ago. Joe Burrow also got paid recently. Everyone's getting the money. Jared Goff also.
Dak's not getting the money.
Nope. Unless you're a
the
Dallas Cowboy.
Next offseason, Dak is going to set the record for quarterbacks. He'll be the highest paid quarterback in football.
Whoever gets paid next is going to be the highest paid quarterback in football. That's how it goes. I'm going to do something.
Hot take for the offseason real quick. Next season, Dak Prescott will be a New York Giant. There's my hot take.
So I said Miami a few episodes ago when we were talking. I brought up Dak to the Dolphins, and they don't re-sign Tua, but that looks unlikely. Though there is an out in Tua's contract in like 2026 where then they don't have to like pay him any money.
Oh, so
who knows? Tua, Jordan Love, they were the 2 most recent paid. Who are you more likely to give the contract to? Like, which one? You're in a room and you're like, hey, we got to give $55 million to one of these quarterbacks. And it's Jordan Love and it's Tua Tagovailoa. Which one you going with?
Jordan Love.
Okay, I agree. Dang, I was hoping you'd pick Tua so we can have a...
No. I look at Tua as a left-handed Brock Purdy.
Okay.
They need a lot around them,
brother.
But they need a lot around them to seed.
So I think Tua is perfect for Mike McDaniel. Almost to a fault. Like, Mike McDaniel's built that offense to make Tua the perfect quarterback for it. Whereas, like, I don't know how quarterback friendly it would be for a different quarterback. Like, I saw something on ESPN, and if a play was if it was 2.5 seconds or less, Tua was the 3rd most efficient quarterback in football. If it went over that, he was like 16. Like, he's not great and off script, but like the McDaniel offense is perfect for him, so it works. So like now they're pigeonholed where like they're giving to all this money, now they can't continue to build around him. Whereas
that's my fear with
Jordan
Tua.
Love. Jordan Love's like guaranteed money isn't too much if you look at it broken down. So like Green Bay can still pay their guys in the next 2 years. Jordan Love's money is like all mostly this year and next year.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried that Miami tied too much into Tua, that they won't be able to support him with the weapons he needs to succeed, because he needs a lot of weapons around him. And now there's a whole lot more money going his way to where it could have went every other way. But that's football, though. The quarterback always gets the money, so that's what you have to figure out.
So, top 10 quarterbacks in money and pay. Can you name them?
Jordan Love.
He's tied for first. Tua's 4th.
Trevor Lawrence
tied for first.
Joe Burrow.
Okay, he's the other guy for first. You got the top 4.
It's like guys who just got new deals. Lamar's
7.
Deshaun Watson.
He's 10.
Jalen Hurts.
He's 8. Oh, you're perfect. You got 3 more.
3 more. Patrick Mahomes.
No, he's 11.
Oh my God. Josh Allen. I'm just gonna go with the top guys.
No. Josh Allen is 13.
Yeah. See, look at these guys taking pay cuts.
Yeah.
Successful team.
Jared Goff.
Oh yeah. Okay. He just got paid. Fuck. I forgot about
5.
him.
Justin Herbert 6.
Bum.
Kyler Murray's 9.
Okay. I wouldn't have got Murray.
Burrow, Lawrence, Love, Tua, Goff, Herbert,
Mm-hmm.
Lamar, Hurts, Murray, Watson. There's your top 10 in pay. How many playoff wins do the top 10 quarterbacks have?
Repeat them.
Burrow, Lawrence, Love.
Okay, well, hold
Tua,
on.
Goff.
Lawrence has 0. Love might have 1 from last year. I'm not sure. Burrow's got a good amount under his belt. So does Goff.
Okay, and then you have Herbert, Lamar, Hurts, Murray, and Watson.
Okay, Lamar also has a good amount of playoff wins under his belt, I believe. Maybe not. Maybe a couple. Maybe he's got 2 or 3. So I'm going to go like 2 with Lamar, 3 from Goff from last year. So that's 5. Probably like 10 playoff wins between the 10 guys.
Okay, 16.
Okay.
Burrow has 5. Goff has 5.
Oh, I missed 2 of Goff's. He did. Okay.
You missed the Rams.
Yeah. I didn't know if he made it with the Rams, but he made it to the fucking Super Bowl.
Trevor Lawrence has 1. He beat the Chargers. He came back. The Chargers were up a ton.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I remember that game. It was crazy. Yeah.
Justin doesn't have any. Lamar Jackson has 2. Lamar has, and Jalen Hurts has 2. Murray and Watson have none.
This guy's having mic difficulty.
It's the cat. He's running under the mic and unplugging it every time he walks. Oh my God.
You got to stop him.
Yeah. So 16 playoff wins in the top 10 guys. 10 of them are from 2 dudes in Goff and Burrow.
Yeah.
No Super Bowls.
And that's why Mahomes is right on the outside. You can pay people when you're not a top 10 paid quarterback.
Every time a quarterback gets paid, Patrick Mahomes is interviewed like, hey, like these guys are getting paid. And he's just like, well, I'm financially set. Like, my family's good. I'm well off. Yeah. It helps the other guys get paid. Like, he knows. And Tom Brady did that for years. Tom Brady was never the highest paid quarterback. Yeah. So if you want to be a smart, really good quarterback, who cares about being the highest paid guy? Who cares? Because you're going to be the highest paid guy for 35 seconds, and the next guy's jumping you.
Yeah, exactly. At one point, Mahomes probably was the highest paid quarterback when he got that crazy ass 10-year deal or whatever the hell he got from Kansas City. And then that was years ago, so they got him at a huge discount, which something Dallas should probably take advantage of and learn how to do.
Your boy Daniel Jones is tied for 14th with Dak Prescott and Matt Stafford.
Kick that guy out. Get him out of here. To put him in the same category as Dak and Stafford, I couldn't even think of anything else besides money that they're getting. There's no other comparisons.
Yeah.
There's literally none. Those 2 guys blow Danny Jones out of the water in everything.
Yep. Daniel Jones. What a guy.
I'm completely out on Danny Jones. That's my stance on Danny Jones.
Yeah. I know. But yeah, Robbie had actually asked me, my buddy Robbie, actually asked me if we could do a little top 10 highest paid quarterback talk and like recollection and put it towards like playoff wins. And then of course like 3 or 4 guys have got paid since him and I had this discussion. So I figured we got a little leeway here because Mock's probably not going to take too much time. I wanted to get that in, especially with Tua and Jordan Love getting paid.
Indeed.
Jordan Love though, I'm more and more in on him like every day. Like I hate it because Vikings fan, I do not want to be like I like this Green Bay Packers player. I don't. Where like I'm at the point like if I had to win a Super Bowl and I'm looking at like the young quarterbacks in the league. So Jordan Love, Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Lamar's not Anthony Richardson. Who else is there?
Herbert,
and then all the rookies this year.
Herbert's still pretty young in my eyes.
Yeah. I think I'm putting Jordan Love 1 over Stroud. I think they're the top 2.
I wouldn't put him over Stroud.
Like
Stroud,
I think
Stroud went to a horrendous Houston and instantly turned it around.
Yeah. But I'm looking at like I'm not like I just have each of those guys. Everything else is around them is equal. I think I'm taking Love. Like I think Houston's as good with Jordan Love as they are with CJ Stroud. And I think the same for if Stroud goes to Green Bay too. Like I think they're far and away the top 2 guys though. Like of the young quarterbacks to get a Super Bowl, I think one of them is going to be the first to do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. There's no reason to argue. It's both those guys that wanted to. I'd personally take Stroud. Yeah. To what he did in Houston is truly unbelievable to step into.
It was incredible.
Like 2 years ago, Houston was the laughingstock of the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1 year, they got C.J. Stroud, traded back up, got Will Anderson, and instantly became a playoff team.
D'Amico Ryans really turned that franchise around.
Yeah. An elite coach with an elite quarterback gets you pretty far in the NFL.
Are you in this draft, dude?
Yeah, I'm in the draft.
Mine does not have you there.
I'm in the draft.
No.
I mean, you're not in the one I'm in.
Oh my God. Okay, there we go. I refreshed you there.
Okay, my God.
Okay, we're going to do the mock. Like I said, 12 teams. I'm picking third. Nick's picking 10th. We're doing PPR. 12 rounds, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, a flex, 5 bench spots. No kicker, no defense. All right, let's share this screen. Let's hope this works.
Ugh, Godspeed. I am very glad that you went over the roster format for this mock draft because I was expecting to draft like our Ziffel draft, which is a quarterback, running back, receiver, tight end, and then 3 flex spots.
Flex, yeah.
So I was more prepared for that, but I'm fine doing this, obviously. But
yeah,
I would have been drafting that mindset if you wouldn't have brought that up.
Yeah, well, I figured like no one uses our
I get that.
Our home league setup, so that's why I didn't do a draft. It makes fantasy more fun. Like if you're listening and like it also makes it easier for like newer fantasy players where like you don't have to be like pigeonholed. So like it does take some of the strategy out of it, but it makes more fun. It gives you more options. Like I could draft a team of receivers and only draft 2 running backs and hopefully be fine.
Yeah.
So that's my mindset in it. All right. Let's start the draft. Let's turn the sound off. Not going to go through that again. Here we go. Oh, a shocker with the first pick and the second pick. Oh my God.
Man, you're sitting pretty.
Okay. So if you're audio only, the first 2 picks were CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson. So I'm here, and Christian McCaffrey's on the board at 3, which I guess could be a possibility in some leagues. I personally don't think he would be available in many leagues. So This is a rare situation. I did not expect this to be the case. I was expecting to be looking at Lamb, Tyreek, and Bijan and Brees Hall here at 3 because I expected Christian McCaffrey not to be here, but this is a no-brainer pick. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey with the 3rd pick of the draft here. Jamar Chase went next, Tyreek Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Bijan Robinson, Brees Hall, and Puka Nacua, and now Nick's up at 10.
I was really hoping for Bijan or Brees Hall here, one of the 2 running backs out of my top 3, because I knew McCaffrey wasn't going to fall to 10. That would be outlandish, but Bijan or Brees possibly could fall to 10 to me. Gibbs is still on the board. I'm pretty high on Gibbs, but taking him at 10 is kind of a little bit too rich for me, especially when A.J. Brown is still on the board. I have him in the tier of receivers with Jamar and Amon-Ra, so I'm looking at those receiver tiers are above the tier I have Gibbs and running back, so I'm going to take A.J. Brown to lock up. One of the many Eagles players I always target.
Jahmyr Gibbs did go next, and then it was
Barkley. Saquon.
Thank you. My screen only goes to team 11, so
I got 12. And then
who was 12 after who team 12?
Garrett Wilson went 112, and then Barkley went 2-1.
Okay, and then Devontae Adams there was next up with Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, so I'm back up with top guys on the board are Jonathan Taylor, Marvin Harrison, Kyron Williams, Drake London, Chris Olave. Since we are starting 2 running backs in this league, I'm gonna snag one of the 2 running backs that I have tier wise, being Jonathan Taylor and Kyron Williams. I'm gonna go Kyron. I really like the Rams offense.
I like that.
Yeah, I like the Rams offense more than the Colts offense this year, and I just trust McVay's running back. So nothing against Jonathan Taylor, but
yeah. So after Kyron Williams, Jonathan Taylor did go, and then Marvin Harrison, Drake London, Chris Olave, Travis Etienne, and Devon Achane, who was the guy I was looking at here, went the pick before me. So I got McCaffrey in the first. Not really liking the receiver board here. Oh, my players went away. So receiver-wise, I'm looking at Nico Collins is there. I could take Ayuk and double up on 49ers, but I don't really like that this early. Mike Evans, Steph Diggs. But running backs, I'm really liking Derrick Henry. Like, I think that's a super safe one there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm going to start high T here. I'm going to take Derrick Henry, pair him up with Christian McCaffrey.
That's a very, very good pairing.
Yeah.
If you could have got Achane there, that would have been the perfect spot to have Achane as your RB2 behind McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been
Yeah.
surefire hit.
Yeah, that's what I love doing with Achane is pitting him up with a surefire, like, safe RB1. Like, if I can get McCaffrey, Bijan, or Brees, I love getting Achane in the second round.
Yeah.
So after I took Derrick Henry, Josh Allen went, then Sam Laporta, and then Brandon Ayuk started off the third round, and then Josh Jacobs before my pick. So that puts me back up. I'm still not liking the receivers, and there's a running back on the board who I'm really starting to rise on, and I'm going to take another back. I'm going real high T.
You know, like
my
Nico?
Third running back, I'm going to take James Cook of the Buffalo Bills.
You don't like Nico?
I do like Nico. I don't like Nico as my wide receiver 1.
Oh my God! Speaking of Nico, he just fell to me.
Yeah,
after TJ went. It was crazy.
Kelsey, then Diggs, Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Isaiah Pacheco, Deebo Samuel. Put in Nick up here. Nick's got A.J. Brown and Kyron Williams. He mentioned Nico Collins here is a guy he's looking at. Anybody else?
Nico, I'm looking at Rashad White, Tampa Bay, and Jalen Hurts. But Mahomes is still on the board, so I'm not going to take Hurts. I'm going to hope for Hurts or Mahomes on the swing.
Mahomes on the swing. I think that's a good move.
So I'm looking at Nico or White. There are a lot of receivers after Nico that I do really like. So I think I'm going to take Rashad White. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Taking Nico.
No?
Taking Nico.
Going Nico. All right. Nico Collins, Nick. Then Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, DJ Moore, Malik Neighbors to start off the fourth round, putting Nick on the clock. Jalen Hurts still on the board. Okay. So is Rashad White, though.
The combo of getting Hurts and A.J. Brown would be elite, but
get a good stack to start. Yeah.
Rashad White is still on the board. And a 2 running back system, if this was our Ziffle, our home week, I would have for sure. I'm not even thinking about taking Jalen Hurts because I have 1 running back. I don't have to really worry about it. I can kind of get a decent quarterback later, so I'm gonna lock in Rashad White, Tampa Bay.
All right, so A.J. Brown, Kyron Williams, Nico Collins, Rashad White, good start. Jalen Hurts went the pick after you, then Michael Pittman, then C.J. Stroud, DK Metcalf, who was the guy I was hoping for here, went, then Cooper Kupp, and then Devontae Smith. So now I'm looking, and man, the receiving board is just not going my way.
A ton went out, yeah.
Yeah, a lot. I've really backed myself into a corner, but it is what it is. I'm going to do...
There are 2 receivers on the board that I really like.
So there's one I'm eyeing, and I might just bite the bullet and pick it if I could see.
Even Amari Cooper, dude. Amari Cooper's a super safe pick.
He is, yeah. Cooper, I would much rather take him in the 5th. Team 2 has a quarterback, running back, and receiver. Mm-hmm. Team 1 has 2 receivers and a tight end. So
I imagine at least one receiver is going on.
Yeah, I am going to take the highest receiver on my board right now, and I think he's the only guy who I think can jump into the receiver 1 echelon this year, and that's George Pickens for Pittsburgh.
Pickens would have been the receiver I was targeting, and then Tank Dell. I think Tank Dell also has that kind of upside.
I really wanted Trey McBride, who went next, and then Alvin Kamara to end out round 4, then Kenneth Walker, and then Tank Dell, who would have been my other pick here in the 5th. So I am going to Amari Cooper, who I said I did want in the 5th round. Get myself a more steady, safe option at the receiver position. Like I do like T. Higgins more than Nick, but pairing T. Higgins and George Pickens just gives me 2 volatile wide receivers who could go out and just get 4 points any given week. But Amari Cooper's got a really safe floor. I think it's a perfect pairing with George Pickens.
Amari Cooper's floor is super safe, but yet his ceiling is also extremely high. Last year, he had really big boom weeks. I love Amari Cooper. He's great value come the end of the fourth, early fifth. I love the sacking with him and Pickens, dude.
Yeah, and he was strong with Deshaun Watson. Maybe the only thing that was good with Watson last year. Joe Mixon went next, then Mark Andrews and Zay Flowers, George Kittle, Anthony Richardson, and then Keenan Allen right before Nick. So Nick's up now. He's got a nice little receiver running back alternation here. A.J. Brown, Kyron Williams, Nico Collins, and Rashad White. Who are you looking at here?
I'm completely taking quarterback off the board at this pick because the two teams after me have quarterbacks. So I'm kind of looking at the board. Team 11 and 12, 11 has Lamar, 12 has Mahomes. So they're not going to take a quarterback. So if I do want to take a quarterback in the next two picks, I'm going to take them on the swing because all of them are going to be there. So the running back wise, Aaron Jones is there. I'm not extremely high. James Conner is a really safe pick. So was David Montgomery. I really don't care for T. Higgins right here. Christian Kirk's a really safe pick. Odunze, I love Odunze. He was my number 2 receiver coming out of college. It's still a little bit too high for me here, though, with the rookie quarterback and all of the options around him. So I'm looking at tight end. I guess Kincaid is here, and so is Kyle Pitts. I love both of them. And Ingram, so all 3 are there. So I might kind of hope one falls to the 7th. Kincaid and Pitts won't. Ingram might. Oh, man, so I don't even know what I'm going to do here. I'm kind of panicking. Oh, man. Montgomery?
You can take the most boring pick in fantasy and take Christian Kirk.
Man, Christian Kirk is pretty boring, dude.
Hey, man, Kyle Pitts is your dude. You have him at tight end too?
I'm taking Kyle Pitts. I was looking at him, and then even right when you say Kyle Pitts, I'm like, I have to take my tight end too. Ingram is still there, so I figured one of them went. T. Higgins went to pick after me. David Montgomery went to Team 12, and then Aaron Jones also went Team 12, so they went back-to-back backs. And then Kincaid went to Team 11. So I'm back up on the board, and like I said, all the quarterbacks are still there. So Burrow and Dak are both still there. So is Murray and Love. So there's 4 quarterbacks on the board that I'm comfortable having, being Burrow, Dak, Murray, and Love as my starters. And after that, I'm really not too comfortable. There's guys like Goff and Jaden Daniels and Tua. If
you're banking on one of them, that's when you're looking at pairing up 2 quarterbacks.
Exactly. So those 4 guys, I'm pretty set on I need one of them if I want to be comfortable. And I'm not extremely high on, like, James Conner is a very safe pick. Christian Kirk is a very safe pick. So there's safe guys on the board. I'm not in the boat on safe at this point. I'm going to try to go get a quarterback, and I'm looking at my quarterback rankings, and I have Dak Prescott in my top 5. So I'm taking Dak Prescott.
That's a great pick. Dak Prescott, criminally underrated, even with not getting paid in Dallas.
Their offense isn't going to change this year. They're going to run it the exact same they did last year, and he's going to pass. He's going to pass the ball a lot, and he's a phenomenal fantasy option. So if I can get him, and he was the quarterback, I think like 7 or 8 off the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got him quarterback 6. So I'm extremely happy with that. I have him in my top 5. So I think I got him at a good value.
Yeah, no, I agree. After Dak, James Conner went, then Rome Odunze, Christian Kirk, Ramondre Stevenson, Joe Burrow, who was my top of my board, and then Terry McLaurin, the pick before me. So I'm in the same boat as you. I'm comfortable with Kyler Murray and Jordan Love. They're the top of my quarterback board. Team 2 has a quarterback. Team 1 does not. So I don't expect both quarterbacks to go.
But let Team 1 make the decision for you.
Yes. Because like I said, I'm content with either of those guys.
Yep.
And Evan Ingram's still on the board. And that gives me a target hog at tight end who I can just lock in. Like they're not going to be the sexiest numbers, but in a PPR league, I'm looking at a guy who's going to get 10 to 15 targets a game, 8 catches a game. I got a real safe floor at a position that's really hard to find a steady option. Evan Ingram's there. That's my pick.
PPR, great. He had over 100 catches last year, and that's receiving numbers. So if you get that in the tight end spot, super safe. And especially with the tiers that are left, like Brock Bowers, I'm not high on. I do like Njoku, but there's risk. Jake Ferguson would have been my safest pick at tight end after Ingram. But after those 3 guys, you're really like Hawkinson on the IR, but There's not many options left.
Yeah,
So
you're pigeonholing yourself. Yeah.
That was a great pick on your part. And like we predict with the quarterback. So
yep. Murray would have been the quarterback would have picked had he been here. DeAndre Swift went, then Rashee Rice, and then to start off round 7, Kyler Murray went, then Jordan Addison. So like I said, my last pick, I was hoping for Murray or Love to make it back. One of them did. That's Jordan Love. And convenient. I hyped him up earlier, and now he's my pick. I'm going Jordan Love here with my 7th round pick.
That's a great pick. And like we always talk about trying to associate ourselves with great offenses. It's very hard to predict which Green Bay receiver is going to be the guy. So you went out and got the guy that's going to throw to all of them. So it doesn't matter which Green Bay receiver is the 1 or the 2 or the 3. You don't have to worry about that stress. You got the guy that's getting the ball to all of them. So
I do. I'm liking my team right now. Jordan Love, Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, George Pickens, Amari Cooper, Evan Ingram, James Cook for my starting lineup. After Love, Brock Purdy went, then Najee Harris, Jaden Reed, Nick Chubb, Calvin Ridley, Xavier Worthy, and that puts you up on the clock.
That Nick Chubb pick is, I think that's really risky in my eyes.
Yeah, they came out and said he's not going to be ready to start the season, so now we know that Jerome Ford is right now the head back. And then they said Pierre Strong's going to handle goal line work, and Deonta Foreman
there you go.
is going to handle the short yards. So who knows? I'm still in the boat. Like, I like taking, like, if I go 0 RB, I like Jerome Ford where he's going. Because, like, I have a starting running back for a couple weeks for sure, like a locked-in starter. But if, like, I have running backs, like in this situation where I have my 3 guys, I'm not really looking at Jerome Ford because come mid-season, he's not valuable to me, and I'm just wasting a roster spot.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Did we go over the guys that went after Love?
Yeah. Xavier Worthy, Calvin Ridley, Nick Chubb.
Oh yeah, you said Nick Chubb, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So the Xavier guys I'm looking at,
wild.
He's skyrocketing now. He's pretty much going as Kansas City's 1. It is very risky in my eyes, but I don't want to associate myself with Hollywood Brown, so I completely get it. So Hollywood Brown's one of the few guys that's pretty much on my I'm not drafting him in any league. It's not worth it. So guys, I'm looking at here. I like Chris Godwin a little bit in the PPR league. Tony Pollard, I do like. Zamir White, I do like. But then the guy under him is Raheem Mostert. He was RB2 last year. I only have 2 running backs, so I'm looking for a good running back in my flex or even on my bench, and I'm really comfortable with Mostert. And then I'm gonna hope for a skyrocket receiver, like a young guy that I can hope banks on a skyrocket season. Being Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., Keon Coleman. So those 3 guys are all there, and those are the 3 guys I was really looking at.
Tony Pollard, Brock Bowers went, and then DeAndre Hopkins, and then Hollywood Brown. But Mostert's a great pick. You're getting the RB1 in one of the best offenses in football. Like, I know Achan's the sexy pick, but like Mostert's still the guy there. And I get being weary of age, but like the pendulum has swung way too far. He should be going in the 5th round. And you're getting him in the 7th.
I totally agree. After the season he had last year, I was actually really worried he was going to go way too early. And I'm like, I'm not going to associate with Mostert. He's going to go in like the 4th, and that's just going to be out of pocket. But to get Mostert in like the 7th and sometimes even the early 8th, he's a 4 surefire steal at that point. So just lock it in. Like, and again, associate with great offenses. It's Miami. He's going to get the ball. So I'm back up. So those 3 receivers are still there. And
so reports out of Chargers camp have been that Quentin Johnston is the 4th receiver on the depth chart now.
Yeah.
Like all their 3 receiver sets have been Palmer as the 1, Ladd as the 2, DJ Shark as the 3.
Yeah. DJ Shark's getting a lot more work than everyone kind of anticipated, but he's a solid receiver. He knows what to do. He's a very safe option, so I get why Harbaugh likes him.
He's developed Quentin Johnston.
Yeah, essentially. That is a very good. Oh, man. These 3 receivers are tough to pick from. I don't personally think Ladd's going to be the real option in San Diego, or, well, LA at this point. My bad. Apologies. So I'm going to kind of take Ladd off my board. So I'm looking at Brian Thomas, hoping he can pass Gabe Davis on the depth chart at some point as the deep threat option.
He can.
In your eyes, he can. But
He will.
I'm gonna take Keon Coleman.
Hey, he's been your dude all through the draft process.
He's been my dude in the draft process, and then he ended up in Buffalo. They traded up for him, I believe. So they essentially went out and got.
They traded down
back
for him twice.
Yes, yes. But I think they ended up trading back up to that spot, but maybe not. I don't know. I think he could end up being the one in Buffalo, to where I don't think Lad's going to be the one in LA. I don't think Brian Thomas is going to be the one. He might not even be the two. So I'm going to take Keon Coleman just on hopes at him and Josh Allen at some point. I don't think it's going to be early in the season. I'm banking on Keon Coleman helping me in the late push in the season.
In the playoff run.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. All right. After you went Coleman, Chris Godwin went, then Zamir White, then Lad McConkey. David Njoku went to Team 6, then Deontay Johnson, and then Javonte Williams, the Denver running back. Putting me up, and I'm thrilled to see Brian Thomas Jr. on the board. And that's where I'm going. I'm not even going to look anywhere else. I'm going to get me another volatile receiver with George Pickens and my dude, BTJ.
I actually thought you were going to go Christian Watson. I'm actually very surprised that you didn't go Christian Watson to stack it with love. I would have loved to see the stack.
Go Christian Watson, but I couldn't turn down Brian Thomas Jr.
Understandable.
Yeah, so after I took BTJ, Jonathan Brooks went, who I was also looking at, Austin Eckler, Christian Watson, and Zach Moss. I was really hoping Watson would make it back. I thought he would. So now
what you looking at here?
So I've got 3 really good running backs, really good safe backs in McCaffrey, Henry, and Cook.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for an upside guy. Like I said, I was considering Johnny Brooks there when I took Brian Thomas Jr. So I'm gonna go with Chase Brown, the Bengals running back. He's getting the first team reps. It gives me a piece of that Bengals offense, a really good offense. Joe Mixon was super good there, fantasy relevant. He scored touchdowns. He got you a steady amount of points. And if Chase Brown is that guy in the 9th round as my bench running back, that's great upside.
For sure, dude. I was actually hoping for Jackson Smith-Njigba here. I was kind of hoping he fell. I think he's going to have
pick before you.
The pick before me, so it was kind of rough.
Yeah. Jake Ferguson went after me, and then Caleb Williams, Jalen Warren, Dallas Goedert, Tajay Spears, then Jackson Smith-Njigba right before your pick.
Yeah, so like I said, I was looking for JSN there. I think he's going to have a real good season in Seattle. And my backup,
I want pieces of that Seahawks offense. I do.
I want one of the receivers for sure. I like them all. I think they're all going to have nice seasons. My backup pick was Jalen Warren, who also went. So that's cool. I think Jalen Warren's going to be a real PPR machine.
That's cool.
That's real cool. But there is one more back that I do really like, and it's of my New York Giants, Devin Singletary. He's not super beautiful. He's not flashy. He's like a poor man's. He's like a poor man's Raheem Mostert, and I got both of them. I'm very content with that pick. I think he's very safe.
He knows the offense. Stable guy. Steady dude. You're going to get at minimum probably 900 yards. He's safe for that. He does that like every year. He's never broke 1,000, but he could. I'm not. But he's a guy who's going to be involved. The Giants love using the offense. I actually think Singletary's better for the Giants offense than a lot of people would think. Like now the box isn't going to be stacked like it would against Barkley. So I think it's going to open up the running game a little bit for Singletary.
I agree. Teams aren't going to go out there and game plan for Singletary like they did with Barkley and put 8 in the box and stack the box. It's not going to happen. It's going to really open up a lot of our offense, not having just Barkley as the focal point of the offense.
Yep. After you went TJ Hawkinson and then Tua Tagovailoa to round out round 9, starting off round 10, Dalton Schultz, Texans tight end, and then Trey Benson, who I was considering with Chase Brown at the 2nd pick. So that puts you up here. 3rd pick of the 10th round.
So not that I need a backup quarterback, and Jared Goff isn't going to be the one, but Jaden Daniels is sitting under him. And I just based off of ceilings and what could be, Jaden Daniels is an elite rushing quarterback with a great arm, and that's what you want in fantasy. So I'm just going to take Jaden Daniels off of what he could be. And if I get him and Dak, I'm not worried about quarterback at all. I love Jaden Daniels this year. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season fantasy-wise.
I really thought you were going to go with Jamison Williams. I know he's a guy that you like
I do like Jameson Williams a lot.
there in Detroit. Jared Goff went after Jaden Daniels, then Jamison Williams, then Brian Robinson, Justin Herbert, Cortland Sutton, and the Gus Edwards picked before mine, putting me up, and I'm going to go with who I think is going to be the number one receiver in Buffalo, and that's Curtis Samuel.
He is definitely the safer of the options, but I think his ceiling is his floor. I don't think there's much. I don't think there's a big gap in between his floor and ceiling, to where Keon Coleman's gap is huge, but his ceiling is question marks at this point. We don't even know what it could be. It could be a top 15 receiver for all we know. He's super athletic.
I wanted to. It was more so I wanted to go out and get me a safe floor guy at receiver because, like I said, my receivers. I have Pickens, who's really high volatile. I have Cooper, good floor, good ceiling guy. I have BTJ, an unknown. Curtis Samuel kind of gives me a safe option if I have to plug and play. For sure, one of those dudes. Back up, I was hoping for Romeo Doubs.
I know you were.
Yep. I'm just losing. I'm trying to play the game and I keep losing. So I'm going to go with another receiver, and it's a guy who I'm actually, when I restat this team, I think he's going to be the number one receiver. I just don't trust his quarterback, but I trust his coach in Dave Canales. I'm going with Xavier Legette of the Carolina Panthers.
The dude is looking amazing right now, and he holds himself in such a high regard, dude. I love everything about that dude. I think he's going to be phenomenal regardless of bum-ass Bryce Young getting him the ball.
Yeah, and he came out, he had a press conference after one of his days of practice, like, I didn't do great today, I got to do better. Like, no player does that, and I love that. Great high-character guy. I think they're going to use him sort of like a mix of Debo and DK. Like, I really think Dave Canales is going to manufacture touches for this dude. And then second to last pick, if I can get an upside guy like that, I'm in on it. After that went Blake Corum, then Pat Freiermuth, then Trevor Lawrence, then Adonai Mitchell, then Jerome Ford, Zach Charbonnet right before Nick's pick.
So I'm just kind of looking at guys here. There's no one I'm really eyeing too much, to be honest. There's a couple receivers on the board that are all right. None of them are really sticking out. So I'm looking at the running backs. Jalen Wright, Miami's rookie running back, is on the board. Chuba Hubbard, who's going to end up being Carolina's one to start the season, and for a good amount of time, he's going to get a good amount of work. But I have Devin Singletary and Raheem Mostert. They're kind of all just floor kind of guys. There's no really upside. I mean, Mostert, obviously, if he gets 18 touchdowns again, has the upside. Yeah. Reports on Kendre Miller out of New Orleans are horrendous, so I'm
bad vibes.
Completely straying away from him now. He was one of my big sleepers, but the reports are bad right now. He's not understanding anything. He's looking bad. So I'm kind of looking at Ty Chandler, who every report is phenomenal, and Marshawn Lloyd of Green Bay. I really don't think Josh Jacobs is going to be fine, but Green Bay loves two-back systems. They spend a high capital on Marshawn Lloyd. We constantly keep saying his name on this podcast. I'm taking Marshawn Lloyd. He's such a good option to have. Don't worry, TJ, because I'm taking another Green Bay Packer here. I'm taking a guy that I constantly talk about, and I try to get him late.
After Lloyd, Khalil Shakir went, Jacoby Myers, then Mike Williams, and then Jalen Wright, putting you up with your final pick.
I'm taking Dontavius Wicks.
That's a good pick.
I think there's a legitimate chance that he comes out somehow as the number 2 receiver in Green Bay.
He could be the one, and nothing would surprise me with this Green Bay receiving crew.
I agree. I don't think he could be the one. I think either Watson or Reed can end up. But I think there's a chance he finishes.
Those guys are always hurt though. So
no, I agree. But I think he could end up as like the legitimate 2. The dude gets open. He's like Tank Dell. He's such a good route runner. He's separations elite.
Loved him in Virginia, and him and Romeo Doubs are like the safer players. Like if Green Bay was rolling those 2 guys as their 1 and 2, I still think they'd be winning football games.
I agree. I do like Jalen Wright a lot this year. Jalen Reed.
I probably would have taken Dontavian Wicks had he made it to this pick, even though I was planning on going running back. I was hoping for Marshawn Lloyd, but Alas, that's not it. I do want to get another back here because I only have one backup, and that's Chase Brown. So I'm going to go with a guy who I think is going to be really valuable in PPR, and I always want to get the pass catching back in Denver. So I'm going to go with Jaleel McLaughlin here for the Broncos. Last year, uh, Javonte Williams had 40 plus catches. Samaje Perine had 50 catches. There was 90 catches just from those two guys, and they're not even the pass catching. Like Jaleel McLaughlin slides into that role this year. I can get a running back who could get 50 plus catches in a PPR league as just like a good floor guy, plug and play. I love that value.
Yeah,
To
for
end
sure.
out to end out the draft, Kirk Cousins and then Jared Judy to finish it off. I'll go over my team here. I picked third. Quarterback, I got Jordan Love. Running back, Christian McCaffrey at pick 3. Insane. I can't believe that happened. And then Derrick Henry, George Pickens, and Amari Cooper to round out my receivers. Well, Derrick Henry round out the running back. Evan Ingram is my tight end. James Cook is my flex. Brian Thomas Jr., Chase Brown, Curtis Samuel, Xavier Legette, Jaleel McLaughlin as my bench players. Got a lot of high impact guys on my bench. Curtis Samuel, so that does worry me a little bit. But overall, I ended up really liking how this team played out.
Yeah, for sure. No, let me quick look at your team. I love Reed. Or I love Love. That was very hard to say. McCaffrey and Derrick Henry are elite regardless of how old Derrick Henry's getting. I love him in Baltimore this year. I'm extremely high on George Pickens, and to pair him with Amari Cooper, who's extremely safe. It's very smart because Pickens is going to have those weeks where he might only have 2-3 catches and 10 yards, but his upsides are 3 catches, 3 touchdowns, and 150 yards. Evan Ingram, we already talked about the PPR, super safe. James Cook is another running back. He's going to PPR machine this year, I think. And yeah, your bench is, you like Brian Thomas a lot. Chase Brown, the reports are coming out very solid. Curtis Samuel's a PPR. He's got a good option. And Legette, we talked about. As the same with McLaughlin, are both very high upside guys. So I'll quick run through my team. Whole bunch of talking coming from me. Quarterback, my starters are Dak Prescott. Running back wise are Kyron Williams and Rashad White. 2 receivers, AJ Brown and Nico Collins. Tight end, Kyle Pitts. Flex, Raheem Mostert. Bench wise, I have Keon Coleman and Dontavius Wicks, receiver. Running backs, I have Devin Singletary and Marshawn Lloyd, and then Jaden Daniels, backup quarterback. So no backup tight end, but backup quarterback.
Yeah. Normally, I don't go the 2 QBs, especially if I get a guy like Dak, but I understood your mindset there with Jaden Daniels. I have him in my top 10. Like, I think Jaden Daniels is going to be a really good fantasy option, even if he's a lackluster pro, but he breaks the system because he runs the ball a ton.
Yeah.
Like, he brings you a ton of upside, whereas, like, if Dak does have a bad year, or he's just kind of like, hey, like, I'm banged up and I'm playing for the money, I'm not going to play through this ankle sprain, it gives you a guy who you can plug into your lineup and you're still fine. Kyle Pitts is an enigma, insane upside, but also incredible downside. But Atlanta's got a more modernized offense with Zach Robinson. Kyle Pitts has been playing at receiver.
That's what I'm hoping.
Big body dudes with Drake London and Kyle Pitts on the outside, like they're moving around. I've said it before, like I'm more comfortable with going with Kyle Pitts than I am with Drake London. So I do like that pick there. Raheem Mostert is the steal of fantasy leagues right now. And I do expect him to go higher in home leagues just because name value and what he did last year. But I love your running back crew. Kyron Williams is in my top 5. Rashad White's just right outside my top 5. Nico Collins is your wide receiver 2. That's the perfect world. Like, I love Nico. I have him as my wide receiver 12. But like, if I can get one of the top end guys like AJ Brown, like you did, and get Nico Collins, especially at the end of the 3rd,
I've never got him at that
great value there.
Yeah. I was so shocked he fell to 310. I've never. I usually run 10 because that's, excuse me, the pick I have in our home league. I happen to get 10, so I ran 10 in our mock, and we've ran probably almost 100 mocks, and I've never got Nico at 310. Never in my life.
I usually see Nico going end of the 2nd, and then never makes it past like mid 3rd.
To have Steph Diggs go above Nico was a true criminal. I would have laughed at that person if we were drafting a person. I would laugh in that person's face.
And then you got a good safe bench. Devin Singletary's good volume. He's RB1. Marshawn Lloyd, great upside. Same with Wicks. And Keon Coleman, like, I think my only downside is you don't have a safe option at receiver off your bench, but you can find a receiver off the market.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would have to play receiver market pretty well,
Yeah.
and then there's a bunch of good guys on the market. And then tight end, I would have to also play the market if Kyle Pitts happens to fail.
Yeah.
But I have him ranked to my tight end too, so I pulled the trigger.
Yeah, call your guys. There we go. Mock draft episode in the books. We finally got it done. We were trying to get Merck in for this, but scheduling conflicts, we couldn't make it happen. Real life stuff. We're going to try to do 2 shows a week here because we're getting real close to the season. Football, we're recording this on Wednesday. There's a football game on tomorrow.
There's a game
tomorrow.
Thursday. There's the Hall of Fame game is on. Yep.
And then we're having football after that, the following week, and then we're in the preseason. We're in the thick of it. So we're going to do our division stuff. We're going to do predictions for the divisions, how we pan out teams. We're also going to talk about fantasy relevant guys there. And also, we're going to combine the bowl predictions into that episode as well. We'll give a bowl prediction either for one team in the division, or maybe we'll do all 4. We'll see how it goes. But there we go. We're going to do 2 episodes going forward here.
Hopefully.
With our divisions. Get there, yeah. And then maybe we'll throw out like short episodes, like little quick mocks, kind of get other gists of things, like either put them just straight on YouTube or straight on audio. We'll see, but those will be real short stuff if we do them, like 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Stuff like so we can get more mocks in, because we're doing the divisional stuff. We're probably going to get 1 more mock in before the season starts. But
yeah, I want to get like some other stuff, a mock or 2 in. Yeah, we should get some mocks in for sure.
Like I want to do a 2 QB or a flex league, a super flex league, something like that, something different, and then maybe we'll do a home draft. We'll do a Ziffle draft here as well. We'll show you our league with just flex spots.
Yeah, I think it's pretty safe to say that we'll run the 2 divisional episodes a week, and then we'll scatter some mocks throughout in between, because the fantasy football season is literally right around the corner.
Yeah.
We have a draft coming up this weekend, I believe, for one of our leagues, and then a draft after that in the weekend. So we have our drafts coming up weekend-wise, and then our home draft is the last weekend in August, I believe.
Yep.
The 31st.
Last day of August. Yep.
So it's all very close, baby.
Yeah. Fantasy football, it's right around the corner, baby.
That title is almost in my hands, baby. Oh, that title, baby. I can't wait.
You'll have it on the podcast. Every time. Everybody can see the belt. It's a beautiful belt. We shut out. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us here in this mock draft episode. We also did a little news stuff. DJ Moore also got paid. So
4 years, 110 mil, I believe.
I think when I restat out Chicago, I think I'm going to be way more comfortable with making him the guy. I was before, but I think this gives me the confidence that he's going to be the dude there in Chicago.
I mean, I guess Keenan Allen's so safe, dude. Like, I get Keenan Allen's a 1 year rental. Yeah, he's a 1 year rental deal. I get Keenan Allen's not even going to be there next year, but I think Keenan Allen's still having a really good year.
Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, we'll save that for the Bears talk.
Yeah, mock draft in the books.
Hell yeah.
Yep, we'll see you with the AFC or NFC East. North. We'll go compass order, never eat shredded wheat. So north, east, south, west. So
this
NFC
man
North
just
or
said
AFC
never
North.
eat shredded wheat on a. Oh my god!
Hell yeah, I did. What a way!
Man.
If we did hard openings, that would be it.
That would probably be it. Yeah, for sure. Never eat. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
All right, man. Guys. Drafted Up Podcast. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time. Adios.
Bye.